guys, so today I'm going to be doing a snake Q&A and I have my Kenyan sand boa here. Her name is Pippa. A lot of people actually forget I have a snake because she is the only snake I own, and I don't show her very often because she's a Kenyan sand boa and she hides a lot. So I thought I would get her out and show you guys her. I asked you guys on Instagram for some snake questions and some questions about Pippa. I don't know if I'll be able to keep her out the whole video because as you can see, she really wants to go. Also, before I get started, do not worry, this is not the worst dye job you've ever seen in your life. I got some of that like colored wax just to play around with, and this is one of the colors I got. I think it looks pretty bad, but I thought since I did it, I would go ahead and film the video. So don't worry, I'm not dyeing my hair or anything. It's still just blonde, but I thought I would just do it for this video, but that's not what this video is about. This video is all about Pippa. So like I said, she is a Kenyan sand boa, so let's go ahead and just get right into the questions. So the first question I got is actually, where did I get her? I got Pippa from a breeder. I got her at the Kansas City Reptile Expo. I don't remember the name of the breeder right now, but I know he specializes in Kenyan sand boas and blue-tongued skinks. Usually they don't have Kenyan sand boas there. It seems like they have had Kenyan sand boas there more recently. There's been a few breeders, but when I got her, it didn't seem like I had seen them there very often, so I did go ahead and pick her up there. I don't think I got this in a question, but she is just a normal because I know I'm going to get a lot of questions about her morph. She's very, very light for a normal, but she is just a normal. Sand boas are one of the only animals that I think the normals are like the cutest, so I didn't want to spend extra money to get a fancy morph, even though some of them are really cool. So she is just a normal. The next question is, how old is she and how big will she get? So Pippa is a little over a year old. I actually got her a year ago this month. So I've had her for quite a while now. She's still very, very small, as you can see. I do refer to her as a female because that's what she's supposed to be. And if she's a female, she will get a little bit bigger than a male. But Kenyan sand boas in general stay pretty small. So they stay around like 1.5 to like maybe 3 feet, I believe, if they're a big female. But overall, she should stay pretty small. Right now, she's just in a 10-gallon tank, but if she is a female, I'll probably upgrade her to like a medium Exoterra. So if you want a snake that doesn't need a ton of space, Kenyan sand boas might be a good choice. That actually goes right into the next question, is what size of an enclosure do they need? A lot of people say that males, since they stay pretty small, can be in a 10-gallon their whole life, and females about a 20 long. So for a snake, they need a pretty small enclosure. Of course, I always feel like bigger is better as long as you give them lots of hiding spaces and enrichment. They just don't want a big open space. But you're not going to see a sand boa that much anyway because she spends most of her life just burrowed in the substrate. Talking about substrate actually goes right into the next question. That is, what is the best substrate for them? Even though she is called a Kenyan sand boa, I don't use sand. Personally, I use shaved aspen. I really like this because it holds the tunnels really well because she does tunnel a lot, and it also keeps the humidity low because they do not need high humidity at all. For Kenyan sand boas, I know you can use sand just like in part of the tank. I would not recommend keeping them in all sand, but maybe having like a little play area I don't think is too bad. But I would definitely never recommend keeping them in sand permanently, so I recommend shaved aspen. Next is, what size of rat or mouse do I feed her? I got quite a few questions about feeding in general, so I'll just kind of go over all of her feeding. She does eat frozen thawed, luckily, so I don't have to feed her any live mice. All the mice I buy her come frozen, and then I thaw them out before she's ready to eat. Right now, she is eating large pinky mice. In her last feeding, she actually had 2 of them. So she's eating a large pinky or 2. I feed her about every 5 days, and she is a very good eater for me so far. The next question I got still kind of deals with feeding. Someone asked if I would ever breed my mice to save money. Definitely not, just because I would never be able to kill them myself. I know it's nature, it has to happen, but I would not be able to kill the little mice. Also, with just one snake, I don't really pay that much for mice. Like I said, she eats once every like 5 days or so, and then as she grows, she'll eat even less. So I don't spend much on her at all, so I would never breed my own mice. I don't think it's a bad thing if you have a lot of snakes though, because even though it seems kind of cruel, you know the mice are growing up in good conditions. You know exactly how they're being treated. They're being treated humanely. They have a good diet. So I think breeding your own feeders can be a good thing. It's just definitely not something for me. The next question is one I got asked a ton, and that is, do I think Kenyan sand boas make good beginner snakes? As a lot of you know, she is my first and only snake, so I feel like I'm kind of qualified to answer this question. Overall, I think if you're ready for a snake, Kenyan sand boas can make excellent beginner snakes because I've had wonderful luck with her. I do know a lot of them, when they're small, won't eat frozen thawed and you have to feed live, which is something that a beginner might not want to deal with. I made sure that the breeder I got her from had tried her on frozen thawed and she'd ate it. That doesn't guarantee she'll always eat frozen thawed, but at least I knew coming home that I would have a better chance right off the bat. But overall, I think they do make pretty good beginner snakes, just because most of them are pretty docile. As you can see, she doesn't care about me handling her at all, and they do stay pretty small, so you're not going to come home and then have like a 6-foot boa or anything on your hands. So even with any beginner pet, it's still really important to do a lot of research and realize if a snake at all is right for you. But if you are looking into getting some type of snake, I definitely think looking into Kenyan sand boas could be beneficial, because so far for my first snake, she has been awesome. The next question I got is, does it hurt when she bites you? And I don't want to jinx this, but she has never bit me. Like I said, she is a super calm little girl right now, so she's never tried to bite me. When I get her out of her cage, I do actually use a snake hook, which seems ridiculous, and if anyone owns a snake, they're probably going to make fun of me for that. But when I stick my hand in there, I don't want her to think it's food, so I do use a snake hook just to get her out of the bedding, so in case she gets scared, she doesn't bite me. But luckily right now I have not been bit by her. She is pretty small at this point, so I can't imagine it hurting too much. But I don't want to try it out just because I think it would be more of a scared thing than a hurt thing. I think I would just be shocked by it, but I've never been bit. The next question is one I get asked a ton. It's, will I be getting any more snakes, and if so, what will I get? I'm also sweating a ton and I'm super red. I guess it just matches my hair. But I don't have any plans right now to get any more snakes, or like in the foreseeable future. I really like having Pippa, but in general, I do think I'm more of a gecko person. I especially really love my leopard geckos, and I don't regret getting her at all because she's such a cool animal and just different than anything else I've had. But I don't have any plans on getting any more snakes. Before I did get her, I was thinking of either a Kenyan sand boa or a hognose, but hognose actually aren't allowed at my expo because they are rear fanged, which is kind of crazy. So I did go ahead and get a Kenyan sand boa just because she was more easily accessible, and I was leaning towards them anyway. But I do really like hognoses. I absolutely love all the morphs of ball pythons, and I think ball pythons are some of the cutest snakes ever, but I don't think I would ever want to own one just because they do tend to be pretty picky eaters. Also, they do get a little bit bigger than I would like. They don't get huge, but they're a pretty decent sized snake, and I think I'll just stick with my little one for now. Next is, can you handle Kenyan sand boas a lot, or are they more observational pets? I think this goes for most snakes in general. They're more observation pets. Obviously some more than others, like you don't want to be holding your gray tree python all the time. But for a snake, I think they're pretty handleable. As you can see, she's pretty chill. She is constantly on the move, so she doesn't just sit there like a ball python would. But she is very docile. Most of them are. I know Emma has one that's a little bit crazy, but in general, I think snakes are pretty observational. They don't need a ton of handling. It's not like a dog where they need that attention, but I do definitely think it's good to try to get them out just so they are socialized, because you don't want a snake that's never been handled. So while I don't think you should handle them all the time, overall, I think they are pretty handleable if that's what you want. The next question I thought was just kind of funny because someone asked what's her favorite food, and I guess if you don't know about snakes, you might not know, or maybe it was like a silly question, I don't know. But Pippa just eats mice. That's all she eats. No snacks or anything or treats for Pippa, so she likes mice. Someone asked where I get Pippa's mice. I don't know if I answered this earlier when I was talking about all the feeding stuff, but I do usually get them at an expo. I do have an expo here every other month, so I usually don't have to worry about ordering them online. I usually get like 25 at a time, so they last quite a while, so I just get them from my expo. The vendor at my expo is actually Rodent Pro, so I know you can order from them online also. And the last question is, has she been on a hunger strike? Luckily, she has not. Like I said earlier, she is a very good eater. I feel like half this video has just been about her eating. But a lot of Kenyan sand boas and snakes in general do go on strikes for different reasons. Luckily, she never has. She eats very consistently for me, and she is growing. She's growing quite slow, but she's definitely getting a lot longer. So she eats very well right now. So that is all the questions I'm going to be answering today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I don't know how exciting it was. I just really wanted to show you guys Pippa because, like I said, a lot of people forget I even have a snake because I don't show her very often, and I know a lot of you have been asking about her. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want more like species specific Q&As, let me know down in the comments what pet you want me to do a Q&A with, and then I will do it on Instagram. So make sure you follow me on Instagram if you want your questions to be featured. But that is going to be it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time.